Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, if you've been following the conversation around mental wellness lately, you'll have noticed a shift. It's moving beyond just medication and therapy. People are looking for solid, science-backed, complementary approaches.
That's right, a more holistic view.
Exactly. And today, we're really going to unpack the source material on one specific nutrient that's, well, it's showing up as a real powerhouse in mood management. We're talking about folate.
Also known as vitamin B9.
Right, B9. We've got quite a bit of compelling research here detailing folate's role, its potential role in helping with depression symptoms.
Yeah, the data is growing.
So our mission today is really to cut through the noise, give you the key scientific takeaways, and explain why this particular B vitamin isn't just, a basic nutrient, but why it's actually a critical player in your brain chemistry.
And critical player is, I think, the right term. Folate, B9, it's fundamentally vital. I mean, at the cellular level, it's essential for things like DNA synthesis, repair, cell division, growth itself.
Like the foreman on a construction site, maybe?
Kind of, yeah. Think of it like a core manager in your body's manufacturing plants. Really fundamental stuff.
But for today, what we're really zeroing in on is how that manufacturing directly impacts, well, your mood.
Right.
Folate is, it turns out, absolutely indispensable on the production line for those key neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers in the brain.
The serotonin, dopamine.
Exactly, the ones everyone talks about for mood regulation, for well-being. Folate's right there in the mix.
And it's interesting because historically, managing depression has really centered on traditional treatments, medication, therapy, and those are crucial, absolutely.
Of course.
But they just don't work fully for everyone, let's be honest. And that gap, that need, has really driven a lot of research into these complementary supports.
And the nutritional data is looking pretty compelling, wouldn't you say?
Very compelling, especially with folate.
Yeah, because when you look at the broader population studies, the connection between depression and low folate levels, it's kind of hard to ignore.
It really is. We see this highly consistent finding in epidemiology. People diagnosed with depression often show significantly lower circulating folate levels compared to healthy controls.
And this isn't just a weak link, is it? It sounds pretty robust.
It's more than just a correlation, yeah. And what's really fascinating now is that the science has gone beyond just noticing this link. It's given us a specific, quantifiable benchmark.
Okay, a number.
A number. The data strongly suggests there's a critical tipping point. It seems if serum folate levels drop below roughly 31.7 nanomoles per liter.
31.7 animal.
Exactly. Below that point, the risk of developing or struggling with depression seems to increase substantially.
Wow. Okay. 31.7. That feels like a really concrete number. Is that something like the average person should be tracking, or is it more for clinicians?
Primarily, it's a clinical assessment tool.
Yep.
But it's really important information for you, the patient, to be aware of. Because it shows researchers have pinpointed an actual nutritional threshold tied directly to mental health risk. It underlines that a deficiency isn't just some vague idea.
Right.
It's measurable, and it appears to have a specific effect. It makes it real.
And if we drill down into why it has that effect, the mechanisms, we know, as we said, folate is needed to build those crucial mood chemicals.
Yes, the neurotransmitters, that's mechanism one. But there's a second one that's just as important, I think.
Okay.
Folate acts as a master regulator for an amino acid called homocysteine.
Homocysteine, I've heard of that. High levels are bad, right?
Very bad. High homocysteine is toxic, especially to the vascular system. And crucially for this conversation, it seems to be toxic to the brain as well.
So folate is kind of cleaning up the mess, like a metabolic cleaner.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you have enough folate, it helps convert that potentially harmful homocysteine into other beneficial molecules.
But if folate is low,
then homocysteine builds up. And elevated homocysteine is strongly linked to things like inflammation and oxidative stress, particularly in the brain.
which are both linked to depression risk and severity.
Precisely. So adequate folate isn't just about building the good stuff. It's also critical for sort of cleaning up the cellular environment and protecting the brain.
Okay, this idea of synergy is interesting because the body's never just about one thing, is it?
Never. It's always a complex system.
So if we fix the folate level, does that solve everything? Or are there other pieces that can mess things up?
That's exactly where synergy comes in. Mental health, like all health, relies on a whole team of nutrients working together.
Right.
And the sources we looked at really highlight a strong relationship between folate and copper.
Copper. Okay, that's not one I would have immediately thought of.
Well, research consistently shows that high serum copper levels, even if your folate is fine, can independently increase the risk for depression.
Wait, hang on. So too much copper is a problem on its own.
Yes.
And too little folate is a problem.
Correct.
So what happens if someone has both high copper and low folate? That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It really seems to be. The data backs that up quite strongly, showing what you could call a potent double whammy effect.
A double whammy. Okay.
When you find high serum copper coexisting with folate deficiency in the same person, the risk of depression doesn't just add up. It seems to significantly multiply.
Wow. Multiplies. Why? What's the biochemical connection there? Why do they amplify each other?
Well, it seems both copper excess and folate deficiency tend to push the body towards oxidative stress and inflammation.
Okay.
So when you have both issues happening at the same time, the level of neuroinflammation, that's inflammation specifically affecting the brain, it could potentially skyrocket.
And that creates a really hostile environment for mood regulation.
Exactly. It dramatically impacts the neural environment, making the brain much more vulnerable to mood disorders. This finding, I think, makes a powerful case for more comprehensive nutritional monitoring. You really can't just look at nutrients in isolation.
You need the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
Which brings us neatly to the practical side. Let's say a test shows you need to boost your folate levels, maybe get above that 31.7 threshold we mentioned. The form of folate you take seems to matter a lot. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all situation with supplements, is it?
Not at all. And this is crucial for people to understand. We really need to differentiate between the three main forms used clinically.
Okay, let's break them down. First up.
First, let's talk about folic acid. This is the synthetic form. It's manufactured. It's what you typically find in fortified foods like cereals and in most standard multivitamins.
Right, the common one.
Yeah.
And how does it fit into managing mood?
Folic acid seems quite effective when it's used as what we call augmentation therapy.
Augmentation, meaning adding it to something else.
Exactly. Clinical jargon, sorry. It means taking it in addition to an existing antidepressant medication, basically to boost the medication's effects.
Ah.
And research shows it can actually be pretty helpful in reducing those stubborn, lingering depressive symptoms that the main medication might not have fully cleared up on its own.
Interesting. But then the conversation really shifts when we get to 5-methyltetrahydrofolate, or 5-MTHF. A lot of people just call it methylfolate. This one seems to be like the star player. Why is that?
Well, because it is the active form. Think of it as folate that's already been activated, pre-activated.
Ready to go.
Ready to go. The body can use it immediately without needing to go through conversion steps.
Oh.
And because of that, its efficacy seems broader. It works well as adjunctive therapy, so supporting medication like folic acid,
Okay.
but potentially, in some cases, even as standalone monotherapy.
Meaning used by itself as the main treatment, possibly instead of a standard antidepressant.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe before trying a pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
The research is still evolving, but it shows significant promise in that area.
And this is where genetics becomes really important, right? The MTHFR gene.
Yes, absolutely vital connection here for you, the listener. A significant portion of the population has common genetic variations, polymorphisms, in the MTHFR gene.
MTHFR.
Right. That enzyme, MTHFR, is the one responsible for converting the synthetic folic acid into the active 5-MTHF form your body actually uses.
So if you have one of these common variations,
Your enzyme might be, let's say, slower or less efficient. You're essentially a slow converter. So you could take standard folic acid supplements, but your body struggles to actually turn it into the usable fuel your brain needs for those neurotransmitters.
so the 5-MTHF supplement basically acts like a bypass.
Exactly. It bypasses that potentially sluggish enzyme step, delivering the ready-to-use active form directly where it's needed. It's crucial for those individuals.
Okay, that makes sense. Then there's a third form, folinic acid. Where does that fit in?
Folinic acid is kind of interesting. It provides another route, sort of position between the synthetic folic acid and the fully active 5-MTHF.
The middle ground.
In a way. Clinically, it's often considered for patients who are only partially responsive to standard antidepressants, particularly SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
So for people who take an SSRI and feel maybe kind of better, but not fully well.
Precisely. For those individuals, folinic acid might offer a different way to help stimulate those key neurochemical pathways and maybe bridge that remaining therapeutic gap. It's another tool in the toolkit.
Right. More options.
Now, I really want to stress this point is perhaps the most important takeaway. Folate supplementation in any form should not be seen as a replacement for conventional established treatments.
Like therapy or prescribed medication?
Absolutely not. Think of it as a very promising complementary approach, something used alongside standard care, potentially to enhance the overall effectiveness.
Okay, so it's part of a package deal, not a magic bullet.
Exactly.
And we've talked about how dosage and form matter. And the research, you said, shows different folate stores in the body are affected differently depending on how severe the depression is.
That's right. It's complex.
So how should someone listening approach this with their doctor? What specifically should they ask for? It can't just be, hey, doc, check my folate.
No, you need more precision than that. It's not just about a general folate test. You should ideally discuss testing specific markers. For instance, while serum folate tells you what's floating around in your blood right now.
The snapshot.
Exactly. Tests for red blood cell folate, or RBC folate, can give a much better indication of your long-term folate status, what's actually stored and available in your tissues over time.
Okay. RBC folate for the bigger picture.
Yes, and patients absolutely must consult with their healthcare provider to figure out the right form. Folic acid, 5-MTHF, folinic acid, and the correct dosage based on these personalized results. Don't guess.
So true personalized medicine here means using that blood work to guide the supplement choice, not just grabbing a bottle off the shelf and hoping for the best.
Precisely. And this isn't just a one-time thing. It's really important for long-term management, especially if you're on antidepressants long-term.
Why particularly then?
Because things change. Dietary habits fluctuate. Stress levels change. Lifestyle factors. Maybe unhealthy eating patterns can easily worsen underlying deficiencies over time.
Right. Life happens.
So regular nutritional monitoring isn't just a checkup. It needs to be an ongoing process to make sure you maintain adequate levels. That, in turn, helps support the effectiveness of all your depression treatments. #tag outro.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the big picture from this deep dive? It seems folate is way more than just a basic B vitamin.
Much more.
It's really a powerful and quite precise tool in the mental wellness toolkit, essential for making those critical neurotransmitters, and also for balancing out potentially harmful compounds like homocysteine.
That's the core of it. And hopefully you can use the specific insights we've discussed, like remembering that 31.79 ml threshold as a potential flag.
Right.
And understanding that powerful synergy effect, like the one with copper we talked about.
Yeah, the double whammy.
Exactly. If you are thinking about exploring this, the key is to approach it scientifically. Talk to your provider. Ask about personalized tests, maybe specifically RBC folate.
Use the data.
Use the data to guide your decisions. Don't navigate this alone.
Which really leads to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. If we already know there are specific nutritional benchmarks, like that folate level, and we have data showing that personalized checks, including these synergistic factors like copper, can significantly impact mental health outcomes.
Yeah.
Well, how quickly do you think proactive, comprehensive nutritional monitoring will become just a standard, expected part of all long-term depression management strategies in the future?
That is something to think about, isn't it? How integrated could this become?
Something for you to consider as you take this all in.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope this information empowers you on your wellness journey.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.